I can, in fact, feel the sunshine. Before you ask. Before you ask, I can feel it. I can feel it on my human skin. I can feel it on my skin and my bones. That's right. I can feel the sunshine on my bones. You might ask how this is possible. Well, my regular human bones are especially sunshine, what do you call it, susceptible. And they're getting all that sun. It's just absorbing so much sun. They're getting so hot. My bones are getting so hot. Hello. Welcome to the Video Game Valley. It's a beautiful day today. A perfect 72 degrees out. We're playing Sonic R on the Sega Saturn. That's right. Sonic R on the Saturn. I thought it would be a nice game to play, given the big release today. I didn't want to play something too abstract. Everyone loves Sonic. Everyone loves Sonic the Hedgehog. People are a big fan of Sonic. Sky2Fall, thank you for the $5. Follow me, set me free, trust me, and will then feel the sunshine will brighten up your day. Also, congrats on the llamas. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Thank you. I love how it turned out. Very, very happy with things. Kaylin, thank you for the $2. Just become... I'm gonna hold off on any spoilers until the end of the program. Zachary, thank you for the $10. The epilogue was amazing. I smiled, I cried. Wretched, thanks. Can't wait to back future projects. Thank you. Thank you, Zachary. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Yeah, I like how it turned out. And the response seems to be good. I was expecting something even more abstract from how you were describing your initial responses to the video. I think, yeah, so what I've done, there's something very intentional that I did with the epilogue, and it has made it difficult for me to judge, like, what exactly people's response would be. I was a little bit worried that people would generally think that it was that it was too straightforward. Because one of the things that I did was there's a lot of stuff in it that appears on a surface level to be extremely abstract and maybe a little inscrutable, but is actually very literal and very scrutable. There's a lot of stuff that like if you just look at it and say what it is out loud, you're like, oh, I understand. I'll talk about this specific examples later, but I feel like on like first viewing, someone might be like, what the heck even happened? But then, you know, watching it again, you're like, oh, okay, yeah, this is all on the up and up. This is all pretty straightforward. It's kind of like imagine if there's like two characters on screen, and then one character comes back and they're a big barrel of toxic waste. And you're like, oh, this is weird. This character is a large barrel of toxic waste. And you're like, wait a minute, what do I know of this character? This character is toxic. Okay. It's a lot of the stuff I did in the epilogue is kind of the it's kind of like newspaper political cartoons where they just write a word on something. The economy. Stuff like that. V-Gamer, thank you for the $5. Watch the epilogue. Walking home from work. It's raining all day. It was uncannily immersive. Yeah, it started raining for me exactly when the epilogue started. Like the premiere started and it started raining here. I was like, this seems correct. Been watching the last moments over and over, crying. Thank you so much. I'm glad you liked it. I am proud of it. It's a lot of work, but it all came together in the end. Josh, thank you for the $10. Epilogue was incredible. Watched it with my partner. Had my face on Face Mountain. We found it too. I love Carl realizing. Oh yeah. I'm gonna avoid any spoilers until the end of the stream. But thank you. Love the stream here every night too. Thanks for tuning in and thanks for watching. Thanks for putting your face on the mountain. Thank you for putting your face on the mountain. Thank you. I appreciate it. I hope people like what I did with Face Mountain. I thought it was... Scuffy was surprised and horrified by Face Mountain. I thought people would have like a pretty good idea of what was to come, but I think maybe not. And I'm glad people liked it. Gremlin, thank you for the $10. Great work to everyone involved. Loved the epilogue. Face Mountain was particularly fun. Thank you. Yeah, I want to, before we talk any more about the epilogue, I do want to say that Chris did a bang-up job. Like, recording with Chris, before we recorded, like, he hasn't done the Carl voice in 9 years. And... like, from what I know of Chris and his acting abilities, like, I was pretty confident he'd be able to nail it, but it has been a long time, so I was like, oh, I hope there's no issues. I hope he hasn't somehow lost his spark. But no, I think it's one of his best performances. It turned out incredible. As we were recording, I was like, this is very good, Chris. And it's not, it's like a lot of the lines are pretty hard to like convincingly deliver. Like, he put a lot of emotion into his stuff. He did a good job. Alright, let's go to Grand Prix first. Who do I want to play as? Zachary, thank you for the $5. I rewatched the series before the epilogue. Forgot Chris's delivery of "Oh, I guess you're gone" makes me cry every time. Yeah, it's a great line read. He did such a good job at that. It really needed to be perfect, and he nailed it. Yeah, let's do this. Let's do this little freak. Little tail stall. But yeah, at the end of the stream, I'll do the whole like spoiler talk about the epilogue. If anyone has questions or wants to talk about it. Happy to talk about the epilogue now too, just in a less of a spoilery way. I want to talk about the sound effects so bad. I had a lot of fun with the sound work. A combination of my own recordings and library stuff. There's a particular collection I purchased entirely for the epilogue. Doing really bad. Fourth place. Alright, perfect. This is exactly what I wanted. It always takes me a little bit of time to get back into the groove of Sonic R. Heard a rumor that you made the epilogue because you were so mad people kept demanding more llamas and that's babies. Is this true? This is true. People kept saying, I will not rest. I will not leave you alone. Unless you make more llamas with hats babies. I don't think we're gonna win this race. That's okay. Sky Too Fall, thank you for the $5. Sorry to distract from the epilogue. Reflections on the rotating Sonic Gone. Every time I'm newly blown away by the power of the Sega Saturn. Yeah, this is a great looking Sega Saturn game. There's so many tricks it pulls. I know the draw distance is very silly, but... Didn't see my name or username at the end. Never got the survey email either. Kickstarter should have sent out the emails on the 19th. If you have email notifications turned off on Kickstarter, that wouldn't have happened. They actually send out like 3 emails over the course of a week. But if you do have email notifications off, that won't happen. If you log into Kickstarter and go to the project page, there should be a banner at the top that has a link for the survey. And you should be able to fill that out. And I think that's also where, if you need to update your shipping address, you can do that. If anybody didn't get their name in time for this release, go ahead and submit it, and it'll be in the DVD, Blu-ray, and any like compilations that get uploaded at some point. I'll also be updating the digital downloads once the Blu-rays and stuff go out, in case anyone wants a copy with the new credits.
Ready, set, go!
Yeah, 1 second. I got some super chats. Fuchi, thank you for the $5. If much of what is in the epilogue was very literal, does that mean you playing Sonic R is you taking a victory lap? I had artistic intentions with my Sonic R choice tonight. Minute, thank you for the €5. Llamas with Hats Seniors. Llamas with Hats Seniors. I guess, I mean, Carl died when he was pretty old. So there's at least one senior llama with a hat. Cameron, thank you for the $1. Appreciate the support, Cameron. Thank you. Saw someone on Reddit claim you started the epilogue because he did new house. You prove you're not in a mansion right now. Yeah, I've lived in the same place since, what was it, 2010? I need to move to... where can I even move with Kickstarter money? So the Kickstarter raised $250,000. After Kickstarter fees and what have you, the actual amount that we were sent was $226,000. Around 80,000 of that went to the government. Taxes. About $20,000 to $30,000 is going to be going to the actual shipping of rewards. And probably another 30 to 50,000 is going towards the reward production. I don't actually know how much that will leave us with at the end. I think because of the fact that I got first, nice. I actually got this project done in time. The previous two Kickstarters I did went over schedule, and because of that, over budget, and I ended up in debt every time. I'm still paying off debt from finishing up the Charlie finale. But this one I think I'll end up having actually made an income. It's not going to be a lot at the end. But probably make something. But yeah, definitely not a new house. I think there are some people who look at the number and think, "Oh my God, you got $250,000." That would actually solve all my problems. Just getting $250,000 in my bank account. Tax burden so high if your net income is so low? Well, I mean, I got sent $226,000. My net income is whatever I usually make plus $226,000. The government's not like, oh, it was Kickstarter money, okay. We don't care about any of that. You can keep all that. I'll be able to deduct anything I manage to, expense this year, but it's not going to be enough to significantly cut that down. I just had the hardest time. At this level. I guess I'll just take it lackadaisically. Wookie, thank you for the $5. Epilogue was so very special. Made you feel essential to the whole series. What you made. Oh, sorry. I was misreading this. Apologies. What you made feels essential to the whole series. And my God, Chris turned in a beautiful performance. Thank you. Yeah, he absolutely did. It is probably my favorite Chris performance outside of course, hit her with a car. Hit her with a car. Or maybe that Dark Midnight episode where he's playing pool. Nicholas, you butt-fink. It's everyone's favorite Chris performance. Philip, thank you for the 5,000 Chilean pesos. An amazing epilogue. Keep up the good work. Thank you. Appreciated, Philip. For some reason, with Chris, I always think of him at Cat Friends. Cat Friends. I try not to think of that Cat Friends. one of my least favorite videos I've done. The expenses like shipping and production is deductible. Yeah, but you have to remember, so the Kickstarter money is all going to be in like the high-end tax bracket stuff, because it's like on top of my regular income. So it's like, it's not even. If that was my only income for the year, if it was just that, then it would be the tiered, like, you know, the lowest bracket for part of it, the middle bracket for part of it, and then a smaller portion of it in the, yeah, let's do this. But yeah, all of it's going to be in a higher tax bracket, and so it's like 30-something%. And yeah, some of it's going to be deducted, but it's still going to end up being a lot.
Ready, set, go!
I won't know exactly how much until I do my taxes, but it's gonna be a lot. I've prepaid a significant portion of it, but I know I'm gonna owe even more in the end. There's also a fine if I don't prepay enough, which I will probably end up paying. But fingers crossed, maybe I won't. Yeah, there'll actually be like a post on the Kickstarter in the end with all the exact financials. I like putting that there so people have a better understanding of like what to expect if they're running their own projects. You actually plan to do a Kickstarter and deliver the product, you're not going to get rich. Yeah, Kickstarter is not like it is primarily a way to make projects happen, as opposed to make projects profitable. Like, the 3 projects I've kickstarted, it's like, there was both a time investment and a, like, actual, like, asset or production cost investment involved that was too high without like external funding. And YouTube stuff in general doesn't make any money, so especially like I don't do any in-video advertisements. Like, when you watch the Llamas with Hats epilogue, you're not going to have a it's not going to be like, the epilogue will continue in just one moment after this message from Squarespace. I could make a lot more money doing that, but I find that extremely obnoxious. And it doesn't really work with the types of videos I do. Oh yeah, if anyone has any questions, if there's any like spoilery questions, I'm gonna be waiting until the end of the stream to talk about that. But anything else, I'll answer. ETA and commentary track. As soon as Chris is available. I didn't want to do it without Chris. So I'm just waiting on his schedule. He's a lot more. You know, he's got 2 kids and like a job at NASA. It's funny. I sent him a preview of the epilogue, and I think he was the last person to see it. That I sent it to. I sent it to a bunch of people I know, and it was Chris saw it like 3 weeks later or something. and then today I texted Chris because I had sent him all the information about the premiere and all of this other stuff, and I sent Chris a text thanking, like, talking about how people like the premiere, and he replied back. Let me see, what did he say? Oh shoot, I forgot today was the day. Glad that people are liking it. He's like the least online person that I know. So yeah, as soon as he's available, I'll be recording the commentary track with him. If for whatever reason he's not free for a while, I'll record one just on my own, get a second one with Chris, and those will go up in the folder for the digital downloads, and it'll of course be on the DVD and Blu-ray as well. Second place. Unfortunately, now I want more llamas with hats, which I did not before the epilogue. Son of a gun. Let's do just regular Sonic. Let's do normal Sonic. Let's do a regular normal Sonic the Hedgehog. I can see. Makes me want to survive. Oh, dang it. game kind of sick, actually. Yeah, people like to razz on Sonic R, but I genuinely, truly love this game. It actually also has like a weird magic to it where once you genuinely like learn the controls, which I'm not doing a good job of here, but once you learn the controls, it actually plays pretty good. There's a huge learning curve to it. One of the big keys is using, on the Saturn, using the L and R buttons to move instead of the D-pad, which moves you much more subtly. If you're using the D-pad to move, you're probably like swinging all over the place. Oh, dang it. I gotta replay this. Sonic needs to get number 1. Number 1.
Okay, sit back, get comfortable, and let's watch that one more time.
Okay, I hit the watch replay button, not the replay level button. That was a mistake. Retry. Anyway, yeah, thank you for everyone who watched the Llamas with Hats epilogue. Thank you for everyone who backed it on Kickstarter. YouTube,
Ready, set, go!
can be hard to get to work financially, so it's wonderful to be able to put these projects together so many years later. I've been doing YouTube stuff since 2008, and doing videos on the internet since even before then. And it's great to be able to continue to do this independently so many years later. Able to put out stuff that I'm proud of. I hope that many years in the future I'm still able to do this. Hope this continues on. Think about the good times. Nothing for me to do. No. Oh, dang it. Okay. We made it. Let's do Tails. Everyone loves Tails.
Ready, set, go!
Saw some YouTube iceberg video one time that said you were offered by Adult Swim to do a Charlie the Unicorn TV show, but left when you were asked to add drug jokes. Oh, yeah, it wasn't... So... It's... Back when Charlie the Unicorn first took off... I can't believe I've gone this way. This is... Alright, here we go. I got contacted by a producer at Adult Swim asking if I had any shows I would like to pitch. I sent over 3 pitches, at which point they responded with essentially, we actually just wanted Charlie the Unicorn. I was like, alright. I wrote up a Charlie the Unicorn pilot script and a concept for the show. And I sent that over. As well as like a video pitch, which I think I eventually put online or on a DVD or something. So I think that's viewable online somewhere. And the response was essentially it felt like if I went forward with the show, it would not really be my show. It felt like they were, it felt like they wanted to essentially buy the IP. And they would put people on the team or whatever to make a show to capitalize on the popularity or whatever. Because the response that I got was essentially like, oh, we want this to appeal to the stoner college guy market. So you should have stuff like Charlie smoking weed. And I was like, I don't really like. I mean, I could do like a show like that. It just felt like this wasn't going to be a good project. And then they sent me a contract. And I took entertainment law classes when I went to college. So I do not I'm not. When I say I took entertainment law classes, I'm not saying that I'm a legal expert in any regards or even close to it. But I do know how to read a contract. And this was a very, very, very bad contract. It was an extremely predatory contract that they had sent me. It's a contract that puts 100% of the risk on me as opposed to them. So, just as for example, the contract essentially funded a pilot episode, which may or may not go to series, and this is completely normal. Usually a studio's not gonna greenlight a whole show without greenlighting a pilot first. But if they didn't go through with the show, there was a lot of money that I would owe them back. And not only that, but they would get a percentage of whatever the IP made in the future in perpetuity. So if they decided not to move forward, they would earn income on whatever revenue it made from that point on. Stuff like that. It was just a bad contract. So even if I wanted to move forward with what I thought was a bad idea just to start a television career, it was essentially giving up my my most important intellectual property for what was a nebulous opportunity. We're under the impression that you were one of them rubes. I feel like it's not yes, this was predatory. I feel like it's actually this kind of contract, especially in recent years, has gotten way more common. A lot of predatory contracts out there. They would earn off the YouTube videos too. Yeah, anything. Although, do keep in mind that, like, this was before the YouTube Partner Program, I believe. So there wasn't even, like, revenue sharing on that, so I wasn't even thinking about, like, that potential revenue loss, but they would indeed have made that revenue. Yeah, I got added to the partner program pretty early. I wasn't the very first batch, but I was in the very second batch. Like, I forget who the very first, like, YouTube partners were, but I was added to that pretty quickly. I think Charlie the Unicorn 2 was, like, the first big video I put out in the partner program, earning ad revenue. Let's do this egg. My least favorite level. After all these years, I still would love to get something on Adult Swim, even though everything I know about Adult Swim at this point, from a business standpoint, is extremely negative. I still have that that dream. You know, Adult Swim was like represented something to me when I was younger, and I do still want to chase that dream, but. I do understand it would ultimately not be to my, not really be to my benefit. There are so many, like, artists who have come and gone in the industry, specifically because, like, their projects are exploited in a way that means that when they're no longer getting, like, a television contract or whatever, they really have no way of bringing in an income, and they get forced out of the industry through necessity. I am extremely lucky to like, still have control over my IP in a way that allows me to do stuff like the Llamas Kickstarter and continue to earn an income off of my own work. Love to get a show at the BBC, even though I know they have a large amount of problems. Yeah, sometimes there's just, like... It's like Citizen Kane and Rosebud. Sometimes you just have that thing that means a lot to you. Still hold on to the dream of working in a video game. Working in a video game despite knowing how terrible the career path can be. Yeah. I actually, I was originally going to go to school specifically for video game development, And the only thing that actually kept me from doing that was the fact that I can't really do math. I can't do math, which is a little bit of a problem. I still do programming stuff, but like I realized that the level I wanted to work at was not really going to be possible with my math skills. Senior software dev, math is like not a thing. Sets and stuff are useful to know academically. Yeah, I don't know. My brother does software stuff. And he does a good amount of math in his work, but I guess it really depends on the type of work you're doing.
Ready, set, go!
Like, I just have a number problem in general. Like, I have dyscalculia, which manifests in a number of different ways. Like, I can't read a clock face, for instance. I love clock faces, but they mean nothing to me. Oh, God. Alright, well, we can just walk around this stage. This is fine. We can just look around this beautiful stage. But, like, I'm working on a game right now, The Maiden of Raven Lake. But this is primarily, like visual novel stuff. I've done like 2D platformer stuff, which is about the extent of my skill set. I can do programming, but like I do recognize my skill cap is relatively low. And truthfully, at the time, like, indie game development wasn't quite what it was. I think I might have still gone into, like, a game development, like, college stuff, had I gone to college a little bit later, like after the Xbox 360 came out and like indie games on the Xbox Live Marketplace started blowing up and indie games on Steam started blowing up. I might have gone into that just like with the idea of doing it independently. But I thought it was a lot more possible for me to make a career in film independently than game development at the time. How's the slime skeleton root coming along? There's actually a few skeleton roots. My career path has been a strange one, but I think that's probably the case for every independent artist. I think about like the ways in which I tried to break into the industry. I felt like it was fundamentally a matter of having the correct knowledge.
Ready, set,
So,
go!
like, I'd always, created videos, created little independent games. Like, I've been making this stuff for my whole life, but I was like, if I'm gonna get into, like, the film industry, I need to know more from the inside. So, in 2004, yeah, 2004 or 3, either 2003 or 2004, I think. It was probably 2004. In 2004, I submitted a video to a contest that Cadillac was having. It was the Cadillac under 5 video contest. You were submit a film that's under 5 seconds. I ended up getting a winning a runner-up prize in that, and winning a trip to Los Angeles, California, to see the movie Be Cool. And the director was going to be there. We're going to see the movie Be Cool with the director. And so I went to Los Angeles, California. I saw the movie Be Cool with the director. And while I was there, I was like, you know what? You know what? I want to make an Adult Swim show, but I just don't know what equipment they use to make Adult Swim shows. The one thing keeping me from making an Adult Swim show is that I don't know. I was absolutely hung up on what tape deck format they use to submit episodes and stuff. Because this is before, like, digital distribution. So I was like, I just don't know what formats they use. If I'm ever going to make a show, I need to know what formats they submit this stuff in. Because this was at a time in which there would be, like, tape formats that would be mailed off to a studio. So I discovered that Tim and Eric's Tom Goes to the Mayor show was made in Los Angeles. And I looked up the address of their studio, and me and my friend who had come with me and my stepsister at the time, we all just went to the studio, and we're like, we're just going to go and see if we can see anyone there. And it turns out they had a door open, and we all just walked inside. We walked in, and I immediately started looking around at all of the equipment. Like, this is a treasure trove of information, all of the equipment I'm seeing. And someone came up to him and it's like, hello. And we're like, hello. We were just in the area and we wanted to see the studio. And the guy was like, oh, cool. Do you know anyone here? We're like, nope. And at that point, Tim Heidecker comes out, and Tim's like, hey, what's going on? And this guy's, these people, I guess they're fans of the show, and they're here. And Tim immediately, he claps his hands. He claps his hands together, and he says, great, let me show you around. And he shows us around. He shows us around the Tom Goes to the Mayor place. He asks why we're in Los Angeles. I explained that I won the Cadillac Under 5 contest, and he asked to see the video, and I showed him my little video. It was a spatula thing. And he was like, that was great, let's see it again. And he watched it a second time. And then he gave us a whole bunch of rats off to you and hats off to you shirts. And sent us on our way. Tim Heidecker. genuinely love the guy for all that. we were very weird people showing up at his place of work. And he was very kind to us. Eric would not look at us. Eric pretended we were not there. Completely fair. But worth mentioning. Alright, we are halfway through the stream. We've got a couple of birthdays to celebrate, that's right. We've got some birthdays, one moment. All right. We got 3 birthdays to celebrate today. First up, it's Phil. Happy birthday, Phil. Let's see what the machine's got to say to Phil. Date has been calculated. Let us fill out your birth fate card. What is your luck number for the year? Wow, 516. Unbelievable. That's a good letter. How about the number? 516 is a number. What's your letter looking like? It's like some sticks are trying to bat down these wiggles. Get out of here. Get out of here, wiggles. How's the weather? Sharks under a hot sun. Any of this hatch an egg? No. We got a joke. Birthday machine has calculated the perfect joke. Just for you. Here's your joke, Phil. Here's a joke. How did the Blue Pyramid lift a whole bicycle for the light giraffe? Consider for a moment the injustice of justice from the passion deep within our sick hearts. Ha! Birthday machine has looked to the stars, determined that your friend Constellation wides the shrouded actor. Enemy star Zeta Kailani, number 4902. Has there been a cosmic event? Error. That means no. Gather around, everyone. It's time to sing. To who? Phil, of course. Join me if you can. Happy birthday to Phil. Birthday sneaks up on Phil. The young tears the world now. We love fighting Phil. Oh, goodness. Birth honk bird for our Phil. Grab a chair for our Phil. A yug might have been seen. The wind in your hair. Wonderful. This is good. Good stuff. Finally, we have a one-of-a-kind work of art created by the machine just for you, Phil. Here it is, your one-of-a-kind work of art. I like it. Will you taste of the fruit, or will you ascend the staircase into the, I don't know, where would that be heading to? I don't think that's going to heaven. I think that's going to some math realm, given the grid in the background. Well, it's up to you. Have a wonderful birthday, Phil. And many more. Alright, up next it's David. Happy birthday, David. Let's see what the machine's got to say to David. Yes. Yes. David has returned. Data's been calculated. Let us fill out your birth fate card. What is your luck number for the year? Remember, it could be any number. 941. You know, I say it could be any number, but really, it cannot be most numbers. It simply cannot be the majority of numbers. How's your letter looking? Oh, wow. That's a good letter. I like it. I don't understand it, but I like it. How's this weather looking? Dotty, drippy. I don't know. Any of this hatch an egg? Ow! I don't know why I said it like that. Apologies, David. We got a poem. Birthday Machine has calculated a poem. It's great when you calculate a poem. That's how the best poetry comes about. Get ready for your poem. Embarrassed fox. Friendship that dislikes. Friendship that looks. Embarrassed fox dislikes and looks. We hurry the fox. We are the fox. Basis fox. The fox says. A perfectly calculated poem. Unbelievable. Birthday Machine has looked to the stars, determined that your friend constellation is the determined cube. Enemy star, Epsilon Orion, number 7461. Has there been a cosmic event? Let's look at the data. Let us look even further at the charts. No. Gather around, everyone. It's time to sing. To who? You guessed it. David. Join me if you can. It is birthday for David. It collides here for David. We all love the baby. We love fighting David. Oh no. Birthday century David. Things are tough sometimes, David. We dug up the bodies. The band plays your song. I wonder if they play it while you're digging up the bodies. Here's some parting wisdom. If you yourself doesn't read the birds, it must be false then. The birds will find you, and an arrogant traveler rows an unsteady boat. This is true. Birthday Machine has finally created a one-of-a-kind work of art just for you, David. Here it is, your one-of-a-kind work of art. I love you. This is good stuff. I love it when there's a horse. I love it when there's a cat. And there's both of those things here. Happy birthday, David. Hope you have a wonderful, wonderful birthday. And many more. We got one last birthday to celebrate. One last birthday. It's T. Happy birthday, T. Thank you for the including the pronunciation in your submission. I appreciate it. I hate getting this stuff wrong. It's important as a matter of respect to always get the name right. And I do it about half the time. Happy birthday, T. Let's see what the machine's got to say to T. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. All right, calculating data. Here we go. All right. Data's been calculated. Let us fill out your birth fate card. What is your luck number for the year? Could be many numbers. 14. Wonderful. How about your letter? This is also a good one. We got some good letters tonight. How's the weather looking? Cloudy. Any of this hatch an egg? Got another joke. Birthday Machine has calculated a joke just for you, T. Here's your joke. You'll never guess, but where did the killer knife perform for the embarrassed passenger? Where did the killer knife perform for the embarrassed passenger? Only the gods know the wonder of justice and the secret washer who keeps us clean. Birthday Machine has looked to the stars, determined that your friend Constellation is the dead lemur. Enemy star, Phi, Karina, number 2763. Has there been a cosmic event? Oh! Sorry, I overreacted. Maybe I underreacted. Look at this. All right, there has been a cosmic event. T, you need to... you absolutely need to pay close attention. T, please pay close attention. Something has happened. It is of cosmic significance, and it is your problem. You need to deal with the situation. Here it is. Here comes the data from the cosmos. Once again, very important. This is possibly the most important moment of your life. Pay close attention. Well, you know what to do. you know what to do, T. Gather around, everyone. It's time to sing. And to who? To T, of course. Join me if you can. We must celebrate T. Birthday rabbit for T. The eggs are too many. The ocean called T. Song continues for T. Why can we not cheer T? The eggs we must hatch them. The blood gulls in bloom. Wonderful. Finally, we have a one-of-a-kind work of art. Created by the machine just for you, T. Here it is, your one-of-a-kind work of art. Very symbolic. I like this one. It's got a couple of symbols, and thus is symbolic. Perfect. Happy birthday, T. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful birthday. And many more. Alright, back to Sonic R. Back to Sonic R. Unlock any characters yet? Oh yeah, I got everyone unlocked. I gotta play as Yellow Sonic, Lightning, Pikachu Sonic. It's got a Radiant Emerald. Philip, thank you for the 50 MX. No, I'm going to leave all spoiler stuff until the end of the stream, so I'm not going to read this particular one right here. But thank you, I appreciate it.
Ready, set, go!
It's a funny observation, Philip. Appreciate the support. Absolutely didn't shut up about llamas today. you got to see it early. Oh my God, I'm doing so bad. Llamas with hats. It's back. Reason they aren't in alphabetical order. Yeah, there is actually a couple of reasons why they're not in alphabetical order. Most of it logistical. Part of the reason is the fact that There's a handful of people who asked for, like, their credits to be put together. There's a number of people who put extremely long text that needed to be managed. But most importantly, it's essentially a living credits page where there's going to be multiple versions of it, because if I had, like, the completed list of definitely all the credits of definitely every credit, then I could have worked out a way to do it alphabetically, but like, people are still submitting their special thanks credits, so the list is going to be added to for the DVD and Blu-ray version, as well as for future, like, compilation uploads. So it's just a lot easier to add additional credits to the end than it is to redo the entire thing. And there's just too many of them. There's thousands of credits, so any particular order the credits are listed in? Yeah, it is actually primarily, not completely, but primarily based on backer order. So if you backed extremely early, like, the very first backer is, I believe, the first person thanked. I'd have to go back and double check that that's how I did it, but that's how the first sections are, I think. Don't hold me to this absolutely, because I went through a number of different options. But definitely all the stuff at the end is like the later responses. So, like, if someone submitted their
Ready, set, go!
their survey like 5 days ago, it's at the very end. Backer, I managed to use an old email for it. Did I miss the call for addresses? If you haven't filled out the survey, then yeah, but there's still time. It's a Kickstarter, so if you log into your Kickstarter account and go to the project page, there should be a link to fill out your survey. Physical rewards aren't going to be mailing until, like, at least a couple months, so you've got time to fill that out. And I mean, there's people who filled out the survey for the Charlie finale and for the Detective Heart of America Kickstarter, like, literally years after the rewards shipped, and I still got those packages out, so there is the deadline for submitting your address is very far out. Saw one name that was yes. I imagine that being the person who's just saying yes for my name. And yeah, I struggled with the yes one. It's actually, so when you get thousands of names submitted, you get people submitting a whole lot of different things. Names, nicknames, jokes, random words. Like, if you look through the list, you'll see a whole lot of different stuff. Ultimately, because of how many backers there are, I kind of have to trust that people entered their information correctly. and go from there. As opposed to assuming that they were incorrect and trying to correct them. Any names have to be removed? I think only one. For complicated reasons. There was a lot that had to be removed with the Charlie the Unicorn finale. If you remember, the Charlie the Unicorn finale Kickstarter took place in the lead up to the 2016 election. And there was a lot of wild stuff put in there that I was simply not going to include in the credits list. And yeah, there was only one this time. Although there are a couple that I shortened. Like, I had the long names at the end, but some of them were too long. So I basically allowed whatever would fit on the line, and then cut it off after that in a place that made sense. People entered their name as Carl. Well, there were a couple of Carls, but I think they were people named Carl. I think they were just people named Carl. Catch at least one F swear in the credits. Yeah, like swears are fine. I don't have a problem with that. Although I did realize afterwards that I then had to include that in the YouTube advertiser. Like I had to include the fact that there were swears because of the credits. YouTube makes you fill out a survey when you upload a video if you want to monetize it, including all of the content that might affect the rating. And yeah, I had to include that because of that. Second place, come on. Just support names with UTF conscript characters, like Elvish. No, everything had to be put into Futura, which supports a lot of different characters and stuff. But there were a few like emojis and stuff I had to take out of names. Like it just wasn't compatible with the way I was doing the credits. Talking about the llamas yet? Not spoiler stuff yet, not until the end of the stream. Oh, God, no. I didn't have enough ringers. Super chat, you missed the spoilery. Oh, no, I got to that. I just didn't read the spoilery part. Can't seem to find the survey. If you're on desktop, just go to the project page. There should be a bar at the top with a link. I mean, you should also have a notification. Everybody's supersonic racing. Supersonic racing seems hard to control. This particular Sonic is, yeah. And yeah, I know the bumper turning stuff. I was talking about that earlier. I want to get first place with this character on this road. I'm gonna do it. Talking about there was a
Ready, set,
when the finale,
go!
not finale, when the epilogue went up today. Yeah, I should be using these bumpers though. I was zoning out. When I was playing the epilogue, or when I was okay, let me start from the beginning. Sorry, I'm a little zoned out now. Oh, I should have gone to that secret. Oh, that's alright. When the premiere was going on, there was a video that I had with a song, a licensed song. Premieres let you put a video, like a little trailer, to play while people wait. And I had a trailer there. With a licensed song, Lonely is the Night. When I upload anything with licensed or royalty-free music, usually it gets copyright claimed when I submit the information with my license, and it gets unclaimed. That's just typically how it works out. I submitted my my stuff, and then I got an email from the company. This is a large licensing company. They do a lot of licensing. It's a reasonably big company. And they were like, "Excuse me, I got your thing. According to our records, nobody has ever licensed this song ever before. We don't have records of one single instance of anybody licensing this song." Which is pretty funny to think about. It's too bad. It's a great song. And they're like, "Can you please give us more information about how you purchased this?" Dang it, second place. Anyway, I I sent out who's the artist? Lenny McDowell. I sent out the information requested as to how I purchased it. So I licensed the song off of Pond 5.
Ready, set,
I've gotten a
go!
number of tracks through Pond 5. Pond 5 has been around for a while. I have had occasional problems with this stuff, but this is largely because, like, when you're using like just royalty-free music, like music that was created specifically to be stock music, generally, when you submit information about a license, they're just like, whatever, and they approve it, because so many people have licenses to this stuff. It's like, it's not even really worth checking. Whereas with Pond 5, it's generally music. It's often, not always, but often music that's like was originally created for like just as a musical project, and then you can purchase a license to use it through Pond 5. Pond 5 has a number of different ways in which you can license music. You can just pay in cash, or you can buy credits, and I paid for this with credits. Apparently, and this is something I know from a previous problem. When people buy licenses with credits on Pond 5, it just doesn't show up on like the person gets the money, but it gets shown up in this like the money shows up in this like lump payment, and it doesn't actually show that a license was purchased for this particular song. Which is a confusing. I don't think Pond 5 should work this way. I think they should be able to see who's purchased a license to their stuff, regardless of how it was purchased. But this was the source of the problem, and so I sent the information over, including my purchase receipt and all of that. And very weirdly, the reply that I got back from them was very weird. Where they essentially did not realize that people were able to buy their stuff with credits on Pond 5, and they did not want this to happen. It's fun. And for the record, literally every track that's available on Pond 5 is purchasable this way. It's like just a part of the platform. It's how the platform works. And this is a pretty large company, so it's weird that they don't know that this is how the platform works. So instead of releasing the claim, they were like, we're going to get in touch with Pond 5 about this and get this sorted out. Like, all right. Have a good time. I'm giving up. I've decided to give up on this. Here's Amy. It's got a reactor factory. What a complicated world we've made. What a complicated world. I linked to it on the Discord, so I can find Lonely as the Night on Pond 5. For whatever reason, Pond 5's search is terrible. If you search Lonely is the Night, it will not show up. You have to search Lonely is the Night, Lenny McDowell, and then it will show up. And you can license it yourself. Lonely as I Was a Russian World War II song. There's like 4 or 5 songs with that title. Important to point out, you posted the epilogue on Avril Lavigne's 40th birthday. Did I? My god. Happy birthday, Avril Lavigne. We gotta make it real. Search in every website is trash now. Yeah, it's not great. It's no good. Whenever I submit like a copyright dispute thing, I have to like as part of the process, I just grab a link to the Pond 5 thing if it's a Pond 5 thing to show exactly where I licensed it from. And the reason for this is sometimes the company claiming it doesn't actually own the rights to the song that they're claiming. There's been a number of instances in which there's a song that like sampled something from another song, and then I get a copyright claim from the song that's sampled from that song. So I just gotta find the link, and it's so hard sometimes. I'll type in the exact title, and it's like, oh, sorry. Sorry, buddy. You typed the exact title. You're never gonna find it. And the weird thing is, it lets you search individual companies, individual contributors' submissions. And if you search that way, it absolutely comes up. There's a lot of times in which I'll try to search a specific music track, and it will refuse to search in the music section and only search in the video section. I switch to music, I search, it switches back to, to video. It's like, no, I think you're trying to look for a video. I don't think you're looking for a song. I refuse to believe that you're looking for a song. Search engines suck now. Because instead of trying to give you accurate results, they're trying to give you algorithmically modified results where the algorithm thinks you're going to make them more money if they give you these results rather than other results. Let's do this again. $15 to license. I don't even have a use for licensed music, but I want to have the option now. Yeah, the that song's going for not too much, given the quality.
Ready, set, go!
Got my ballot today, did my voting. Wonderful. Congratulations. I assume you voted for various vampires. I'm sure there's vampires secretly running, and I'm sure you voted for all the vampires. Make sure you pay with credits. They specifically want credits. Make sure you pay with credits. Ooh, boo, boo. Yabba dabba do. Without you. There's just nothing for me to do, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm not getting first place here. Tails doll is cursed. I love the Tails doll. It is cursed, yes. I'm gonna try again.
Ready, set, go! Can you see the sun shining on me? It makes me feel so
So alive, it makes me want to survive. Yeah. Certainly is. I do feel this, yes. Forget about the rain, you son of a gun. Get back here. I think I should submit the Llamas with Heads epilogue to the streamies. Yeah, I think I should submit to the streamies. Or try to win a streamy. I'm gonna try to win a streamy. I submitted the Trial of the Unicorn finale to the streamies. It did not get nominated. I don't think the Llamas with Heads epilogue is either, but... Bailey, thank you for the £2 Love Llamas with Hats Babies. Glad you got to read it. I imagine because of the digital downloads, yeah. Yeah, Llamas with Hats Babies. People thought I was joking when I said the Llamas with Hats epilogue is a companion piece to Llamas with Hats Babies, but I'm not. I was not. Radical City.
Ready, set, go!
Ready, set, go, here we go. Ooh. You have to survive. You've got to keep the dream alive. Did you know everything is free? Can't you see? You got to keep that dream alive. Can't you see? There's no time these days. town. Living in a city where nothing gets you down. You know you have to survive. Metal Knack, it's Metal Knack. Knack. Contemplative, elderly voice. Probably my favorite voice of yours. I'm glad you like it. Yeah, I've used it a couple times recently. Probably use it again. Yeah, I got some good voices. I'm trying to add to my voice list, given that there's a handful of voices that I just can't really do consistently anymore because of my throat problems. But it has opened me up for other voices. Congratulations first. What's the name of the song used for the epilogue? All the songs are listed in the credits. You talking about any particular song? Let's do Metal Sonic. The one you licensed? I mean, I licensed a few. Are you talking about the ones I licensed for the preview before the epilogue actually played?
Ready, set, go!
Yeah, it was Lonely as the Night. So alive. Oh no, oh god. Lonely is the M. Night Shyamalan. Lonely is the M. Night Shyamalan. I'm not doing very well as Metal Sonic. I'm not playing this well. That's okay. Sometimes it's good to just run around. Can you imagine getting a brand new Sonic R game with the same... I think it should have the same graphics and the same draw distance. I just want new courses, some new characters, but most importantly, new songs. Second place, not too bad, I guess. I've doodled the characters so many times I can see my improvement in art just looking at my drawings of them. Oh, nice. Glad the series has meant that much to you. Thank you for drawing the llamas so many times. Do you feel like Sonic right now? Hello, Robert. I do not. I very rarely have felt like Sonic. I'm gonna play as actual Sonic now. Maybe this will help. I do feel a little bit more like Sonic when I play this particular course. Why is there no metal Tails? Well, there's a doll Tails. Tails is too much of a little baby to get a metal version. You gotta be a teen to get a metal version. You have to be a cool teen.
Ready, set,
You can't be a little baby. Gotta go fast. That's exactly right now. You gotta go fast. This is how you beat Sonic. Your wonderful lack of performance in the epilogue. Of all the people who were not in the epilogue, Robert did the best. Gotta do the Robert Benford version of the epilogue. It's the exact same thing, except instead of Carl, I green screen in Robert. Robert was the voice of yeah, Robert is if Gronus ever makes an on-camera appearance, it's got to be Robert voicing him. Sorry, voicing them. Alice, thank you for the $10. Thank you for everything you do. Keep doing what you do. Thank you, Alice. I appreciate it. I'm gonna attempt to. Yeah, I've been doing this for a long time at this point. I keep going as long as I can. Head to bed now. Catch the spoiler talk later. Good night, Jessica. If you have any particular spoilery questions, you can ask it in chat, and I'll get to it when I'm doing the spoiler talk later. Nobody look at the message if it's spoiler chat, please. nobody look. This is my favorite level.
Ready, set,
and one of my
go!
Yeah, this is probably my favorite songs in the game too. I just love hearing this song. Spoiler warning, the llamas are wearing hats. This is true. This is a spoiler. The llamas are wearing hats. You won't believe this. What if they weren't, though? You think people would have been upset, I think. Would have gotten a class action lawsuit for false advertising. I have wanted to do a project that it's essentially like a feature film with one of my characters, but the character gets killed off immediately and the entire movie is about someone else. But I can't really do that with a crowdfunding thing because I think people would be upset about that. It's a funny goof to do if it's not something people are paying for. These coins I'm getting. Look at all these coins. Yes, they're coins. They use rings as currency here. They're coins. A few movies like that. Yeah. Psycho, famously. It doesn't really play the same way. If you watch it now, you're just like, oh, some woman gets killed. But at the time, it was a big star, and she was on all the posters and stuff. All right, well, that's probably it for tonight for this game. I will do some Llamas with Hats spoiler talk in just a second, so get ready for that. Special thanks to the FilmCow Patreon supporters. Greatly appreciate the support. Never seen that. Psycho, pretty good. Kind of did that with Drew Barrymore. Yeah, that's a good more modern example. Same kind of effect too, given how big Drew Barrymore was at the time. Be back tomorrow playing a game sent into the P.O. Box. P.O. Box game. Anyway, yeah, again, we'll start the spoiler talk. Things are going to be spoiled, so if you don't want to hear me saying out loud spoilers about the Llamas with Hats epilogue, please avert ye ears, and I'll see you tomorrow or whenever you tune back in. Thank you for tuning in for this Pebon stuff. Thank you for the $10. And look at the lemon. Beautiful lemon. Love that lemon. All right. It's time to spoil things. It's time to spoil. Gronus was not in the epilogue. This is correct. Spoilers. Were those your hands in the epilogue? Those were my hands. Yes. Yeah, I posted about it a little bit on the Kickstarter, but essentially I have a green screen and a long sleeve green shirt and film my hands in front of it, and I actually used the method I used for that is interesting. I recorded all that with OBS. I had my camera connected through OBS, and this essentially allowed me to record that and also my computer audio at the same time. And so I would play the scene audio and act it out. And it was a really helpful way to essentially get instant feedback on how it was going to look. And I was able to immediately drop it into the scene. And I think it turned out pretty good. Like, I think it incorporated pretty well. Trevor, thank you for the $1.99. Behind the scenes. Behind the scenes. That's where we're going. Tell me of the tube sounds. Which particular sounds? There's some slime sounds I used. I have part of the FilmCow sound effects library is some slime sounds I recorded. I used a lot of those. I sweetened them with some slime sound effects from, I think it was Hiss and a Roar. That's a recordist who does excellent stuff. The tube sliding sound was actually, I don't remember what I used for the for the tube sliding. Sorry. I'd have to go back and look at my project to see what exactly tube sliding sound, because I needed a variety of tube sliding sounds, and so it had to be had to have a good number of them. How did Chris like returning to the character? Chris loves Carl. Chris was immediately on board with it. He was very excited to have Carl come back. Chris is this sort of person for whom, like, if there's anybody out there who genuinely felt bad for Carl, Chris felt more bad for Carl than anyone. I think the ending of the 12th episode genuinely haunted Chris, and so he was 100% on board to come back with us. It's he does love the character. I 100% would not have considered doing more Llamas with Hats stuff if he was not on board, because Carl is just not Carl if it's not being voiced by Chris. I've always felt weird about, like, directors who don't seem to have loyalty to the actors who've played a character. There's times in which it makes sense to recast an actor. There are many legitimate reasons to do that, but yeah, there are times in which it's like, come on, like even if the actor has like aged a little bit or something like that, I just feel like there should be a loyalty to that actor's performance. This is just me, though. I don't know. I would never ever consider just having Carl come back and not be voiced by Chris. It seems absurd to me. It's like they oh my god, what's David Hayter in Metal Gear, like when they replaced him. Like, come on, no. Why would you? I mean, Keith Sutherland did a fine job or whatever, but come on. Let's see. Let me go through some of these comments. I got all upset about about this voice actor stuff. Texture and sheen and that tube meat was spectacular in 4K. Yeah, it was a lot of work working in 4K, but I did try to make the textures as take as much advantage of the extra resolution as I could. I don't like working in 4K, but if I'm going to work in 4K, I should make it count. Can I ask what the motivations of the hands were, both in story and their artistic intentions? The hands are a little complicated to explain. I don't know that I want to get into too many details about it, because there's a few things in the story that have multiple artistic reasons for existing. There's some pretty obvious literal interpretations of just those are literally my hands. It's the artist's hands inside inside the story. And then there's the hands as a representation of Carl's will. Just in that's one of the more famous things that he's known for enjoying to eat. Is the dancing music with Carl and the Mountain Greek? Yeah. It's the Hasapiko. Carl was dancing the Hasapiko. It's a 12 it's a 12-step dance It's known as the butcher's dance. This is another thing where, like, something that seemed... So I was talking earlier about how there's a lot of decisions that may seem abstract, but when you actually think about it, it's like, oh, this is actually very literal. and and this is one of those instances. So it's the butcher's dance. He's dancing the butcher's dance, and it's to show that he still has a flirty, like, romantic, not like romantic isn't romantic, but he still has a flirty relationship with his own crimes. With he fundamentally likes the fact that he's done bad things. It's he's not actually sorry for it. And so him dancing the butcher's dance with the victims of his butchery. Everyone that knew that it was the butcher's dance were probably over the moon when they saw it. Exactly. There's a handful of Greek people who are watching, and they're like, "My God, Hasapiko." Yeah, I had like a video up of people dancing the sapiko so that I could get the leg movements right. Very hard to animate that on a llama or a mountain of faces, but I think I got it well enough. I think you can tell if you know the dance. You can tell that they're dancing it. So I think he deserves to be a beautiful tree. Well, the acorn specifically says, like, there's no solutions for you, not anymore. You need to become a big, beautiful tree. This is essentially, like, there is no redemption for Carl. But because Carl is fundamentally evil. Carl cannot be redeemed. But if Carl transforms himself into something else, then that's a different entity that has... It's like his crimes were such that the transformation needed to be complete. So Carl doesn't deserve anything. But the tree is a new thing. Let's see. Part of me wonders about Meat Pipe's motivations. Way he greets Carl at the start, essentially ignored by Carl. Just wonder, had darker motives. No, there weren't darker motives from the Meat Pipe. There's multiple ways to interpret, like, what's happening. Like, I specifically don't, like, definitively say whether what's going on is like a death hallucination from Carl, whether it's a afterlife, whether it's a otherworldly being who's taken over, like what's happening. I do intentionally keep that vague, but I will say that the pipe does not have bad motivations. It's the role that the pipe is playing is essentially it's like a caseworker. You can think of the pipe as a caseworker. Is that Paul in the background, or is it his haunted thoughts? This is another thing in which you could like come up with multiple interpretations, but I will say that it was very important to me because of the themes of the story that Carl not actually interact with Paul at any moment. And the reason for that is one of the things that, after the 12th episode came out and the series was ended, I did see a lot of messages from people, a lot of comments from people talking about, like, how much they empathized with Carl and how bad they felt for Carl. And I understand that completely. But also, when you consider Carl as a character, so there's two ways to consider him. There's one, literally, where it's like he's caused the extinction of all life on Earth. This is history's greatest monster. And then there's the secondary way to consider him, which is like, it's cartoon stuff, and fundamentally it's a story about the relationship between Carl and Paul. And if you consider that angle, and that's what I ended up like primarily focusing on with the epilogue, that is an abusive relationship. It is just an abusive relationship. And a lot of people, when they were talking about like what they wanted to have happen in the future if the series came back, they were like, they wanted some reconciliation with Carl and Paul in the future, or in heaven. And like that's really dark for for Paul, because again, like, Paul set up some pretty solid boundaries that Carl was constantly breaking, and like I do view it as an abusive relationship, and so a lot of the epilogue is about that, and so it was important to me that the actual Paul does not interact with Carl at any point. I did not want to force Carl upon Paul. It was important that Paul just never sees Carl again. So like even at the end with the moon and the tree, it's like, this is the happiest shot I could possibly end on. But Paul is, so Carl, you know, the happy ending for Carl as the tree is like growing in the moonlight of Paul. But Paul is 200 and something thousand miles away. For Paul, Carl doesn't exist. What about Paul? Is Carl obsessed with? So I think it's true that there are like people in abusive relationships where the abuser has genuine feelings for the person being abused. That doesn't mean that those people, that the person being abused, should not be extricated from that. It does not mean that the abuser should not be stopped from abusing, and but those feelings could exist, and so I wanted to take as fact the fact that Carl does actually care about Paul, and Paul is essentially the only thing that Carl has genuinely cared for, like with any kind of emotional realness. As for what it is, Carl enjoyed Carl likes Paul, and specifically, and this is part of the abusive relationship. Specifically likes the types of reactions he's able to get from Paul. Like, enjoys having that like doing the terrible things and getting the horrified responses. It's not healthy. But so yeah, when I started writing this in particular, I did take it as truth that Carl actually cares about Paul, but also take it as truth that the relationship is an abusive one, and go from there. Came to ask what the phone meant. Ah, the phone. The phone is. I had considered not actually answering any questions about the phone, and the reason is the phone is probably my most pretentious like artist thing, and my most cowardly act as an artist. As I was working on this this epilogue, I was thinking about the series Steven Universe. I genuinely like Steven Universe. It's so much about that show that I love. There is a thing that happens in Steven Universe. Essentially, there are these beings known as the Diamonds, and they are essentially like they have caused way more death and destruction than Carl has. But you know, in the context of the show, they essentially act as a complicated familial relationships. And so when there's a redemption arc that happens with these characters in the show, it makes sense in the context of that secondary story thing of them being a family drama stuff. But when you consider the fact that they've committed multiple genocides across the universe, it's weird how much they get redeemed. I'm just just imagining them having their like happy family talks and stuff, and just the ghost of someone who was genocided watching on, like, oh, good for them, I guess. So with Llamas with Hats, I'm like, I understand that I'm not like redeeming Carl. In fact, the story is very much about the fact that I do not think that there is redemption for Carl. But at the same time, you know, I am ending with a shot of, you know, the tree and the moon and and all of that stuff. And so in my head, I just imagined, all right, I'm giving this slightly happier ending to the series. I'm doing this empathizing character study of Carl. There are people in the world who are fans of Llamas with Hats who have who have died through violence from people like Carl, who have not gotten to see the epilogue because they were murdered, because they were killed. And so in my head, I imagine. I imagined those people while I was working on this. And so the phone that slides out at the beginning from Blood is one of the viewers who has died through violence in the time between when the series began and when the epilogue comes out. So that is the one of the viewers who has died. And so at the end, when you have the tree and the moon, and it's the happiest possible ending that Carl could get, and then it cuts to the phone again and the blood. It's like, well, that's great. That's great. That's great for Carl, but doesn't help any of that doesn't help any of his victims. Doesn't change anything. Doesn't certainly doesn't help all the people like in the real world who have been victims of violence, who their stories are not going to get the same sort of care and attention that the murder llama got. So that's the reason for the phone. Programmer that was expecting. Yeah, it's pretty, it's pretty it's pretty grim, yeah. Yeah. You have anything to say about the origins of the acorn that spoke with Carl? I saw some speculation that it was another soul that had similar baggage to Carl's. Yeah, that's so I mentioned before that like I'm specifically vague about what's happening, but in my head that is essentially, yes, that is more or less what I had in mind. It's very cute, the acorn. Yeah, I like the acorn. I actually went through a number of different acorns. So that's that acorn. I showed it off on the. I did a ghost drawing stream a couple of days ago, and at the end of the ghost drawing stream, I was like, I'm gonna show a preview of the llama's epilogue, and I showed off the exact acorn that was. I photographed that acorn, put it in the epilogue, so you got to see the actual acorn. I ordered I couldn't find acorns around here. They got oak trees in Florida, right? Right. I couldn't find any acorn. I ordered acorns on eBay. I ordered a box of acorns on eBay. I picked my favorite acorns. I think saying bury yourself in a deep hole was the best YouTube way to say kill yourself for everyone else's sake. Yeah, that had like multiple things. It's remove yourself from the world, but also it's also like it also links to what happens at the end. Carl becoming an acorn, planting himself. So both the sort of death and renewal in that image. I see acorns occasionally. Yeah, I got mine. I got mine on eBay. I got some eBay acorns. Moment where Carl just expands his being onto the entire universe and becomes a giant face. Like Nick Jr. face was hilarious. Yeah, there's a lot of animation stuff I did. The inspiration for a lot of the specific wacky animation stuff was you remember when earlier this year the Mickey Mouse went into the public domain. Someone uploaded a copy of Steamboat Willie to the Internet Archive, and I downloaded that and watched it. And I had some people who were like, "Oh, you're gonna do a Mickey Mouse thing now?" And no, I would use the copyrighted Mickey Mouse if I was gonna do a Mickey Mouse stuff. I would use the copyrighted one. I'm not a coward. I would use the modern Mickey Mouse design. But Well, watching that, I was like, God, I was specifically thinking, this is horrifying. This is more horrifying than, than anything I do. The stuff going on in this cartoon is terrible. And, but at the same time, I was like, dang, the animation in this is so smooth. I wish I could animate like that. And it got me wanting to, like, work on a project that involved, like, a lot more animation tricks. And so that ended up influencing the direction that the epilogue took, where I just really wanted to do a lot more with the medium than I have typically done in the past. I had no idea if I would be able to pull off the stuff that I wrote, but I think it turned out pretty good. Oh, hello, Connor. Hello. Different animation styles and mixed media looked so good in the epilogue. I loved it. Yeah, I like the look of it. I wanted mixed media stuff was important because I felt like the story itself, I was specifically taking like a mix of very cartoonish stuff, like with the animation, with very serious the topics and analysis. And so I thought, okay, wacky animation stuff, but everything should have like detailed textures. Everything should have like more of a photorealistic quality than the series had in the past. Connor from Titanic 2. Connor from Titanic 2 and The Table. So yeah, that was the reason for the specific look of the epilogue. Excited for the next Shadowstone Park. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly when the next episode's coming out, but it shouldn't be too long. Yeah, especially now that Llama's epilogue is done. I got more time in the month to work on some of the more time-intensive series. Let me see if there's any other questions I missed. Is Carl based even loosely on someone real? No, Carl's not based on anyone real. Like a yeah, no. There's no one that I've ever met who is quite like Carl. Can't wait for them to hear our adaptation of Dune. How's God Emperor of Dune coming along? I like that. I keep forgetting to respond to the text you sent. These last couple days have been a mad dash to get the epilogue stuff done. I love that book so much. I love that big weird worm. Do any animation conventional programs like Flash or Toon Boom? No, all the animation I do is in After Effects. I like working in After Effects, and in general, I can't really draw the same thing twice and have it look the same. Traditional animation is kind of impossible for me. So the animation that I do is typically stop motion style with cutout elements, and so After Effects is a decent program for doing that, especially because as a compositing program, it also allows me to do a number of other things in program, everything from like color correction stuff to visual effects and things like that. Love the Lato Duncan Moneo dynamic. I love that there's all these new Duncans for that it's the story opens up and it's like there's 26 more Duncan Idahos, and you won't believe it. This is a spoiler for the very beginning of the next book, but the next book opens with there's 13 more Duncan Idahos for some reason. Don't worry about it. I don't know. We made even more. It doesn't make sense anymore, but we did. Never ending Duncan Idahos. Paul have passed with Carl, or he wasn't a murderer. I think so. With a lot of abusive relationships, I don't want to get into like details or anything. I've not been in an abusive relationship myself, but my mom definitely was on 2 occasions, both when I was younger and also when I was an adult. And in both instances, the abuser in question, like at the start of the relationship, was a wildly different person than further into the relationship. And so I imagine for Paul and Carl, like there was a period of time in which all of the Carl murdering people stuff was not going on. But I imagine that Carl had done that stuff before meeting Paul, and just curbed it when they met, and yeah. Honeymoon phase, yeah. Llama's Babies was not just a prequel. No, Llama's Babies takes place around the same time as the epilogue. I had a lot of people, like, when I said Llama's Babies was canon, they were like, wait a minute. Paul says that they only knew each other for 3 years. You're wrong, Jason. This is a plot hole. This couldn't, and I was like, I think someone hasn't read Llamas with Hats Babies. You didn't read my comment about Duncan is the Urkel of Dune. It's very important everyone here knows that Duncan is the Urkel of Dune. Thank you, Connor. Never much sympathized with Paul before the epilogue. Yeah, I mean, these like the these characters are fundamentally originally written as a vaudeville routine. Like these characters were not written to be like fully fleshed out characters. They're part of a bit, and you know, when people essentially were able to predict the bit and the direction it was going, after the 4th episode, that's when I decided it was very important that the bit fall apart because it was getting too predictable. And so the series, you know, Paul became more of a character, took control over the situation and extricated himself from it. And as the years have gone on, me seeing the comments about people like feeling bad for Carl, I started thinking about these characters in a more fully fleshed out way, and yeah, the epilogue, I was not writing from the perspective of these are two vaudeville characters anymore. It was like, all right, let's consider these as actual characters. Let's consider these as like actual beings with lives and interiority and wants and likes and stuff. Surprised nobody pointed out that Carl keeps purposely putting out the worst image of himself to people around him and still expecting people to think well of him. Yeah, like, he is proud of the bad things that he does, and he does want, like, Paul or whoever to like him for those bad things and be impressed by them. Keep thinking you're talking about a different Paul. Carl the Llama and Paul Moadib. This is the big twist in the epilogue. Paul ends up being Paul Atreides. Oh, wait, I got a text message. Okay, I answered. Alright, I'm back. Oh wait, I got another text. It's this guy asking if I wanted anything in the oven. He said 2 croissants, please. I'm gonna eat 2 croissants. Did you come up with a Maid of Moonlight line? It's so poetic. To come out of Carl's mouth as well. That was a very important line. I struggled with coming up with like the perfect line for that moment, and it was important to me to establish that Paul genuinely cares. I mean, that Carl genuinely cares about Paul, because the thesis of the the piece kind of relies on this. Like this one truth has to be established, that this is not just an act for Carl, that this is the one thing that Carl actually cares about. Or else his transformation at the end doesn't really make any sense. So I wrote that line because I feel like genuine expressions of affection between people, like if you're not one of the people, genuine, unguarded expressions of affection, often to people outside of whatever relationship it is, those expressions can come across cringy. They can come across as as a little cheesy. And so I really needed to come up with a line that had just enough of that it's it feels genuine. And so like it couldn't be so cheesy that it's just like you groan when you hear it or something, but it had to have enough genuineness to it that it creates that feeling in someone listening to it, like you're hearing something private. And I think that specific line is the one that sells the fact that, okay, Carl actually does care about Paul. Like this is a real emotion here. This is not a part of the bit. It has to be like completely without irony. My favorite quote I've seen this year, even though I only heard it like 10 hours ago. I'm glad you liked it. Carl does have poetic tendencies. It just usually concerns murder. Yeah, I mean, Carl's always saying poetic stuff. It's just, it is almost always murder-based. Really like Carl's line on his balloon mom. Yeah, that's so I don't this is I'm not saying it's canon that Carl has a balloon mom, because he does not. Carl does not. I want to state clearly, Carl does not have a balloon mom. But I thought it was funny for Carl to say that his mother was a balloon and then very soon after deflate like a balloon, specifically with balloon deflating sound effects, and then wobble around like a bunch of floppy plastic. He says his mom's a balloon and then he deflates. Gotta update the wiki to state that Carl's mother's 100% a balloon. Carl's mom balloon confirmed. Once the Kickstarter goodies delivered. The physical stuff is going to be sent out at some point in the next couple of months. I'm starting work on the DVD and the zine and stuff, and getting that manufactured. And I'll have an update in a few weeks on a timeline for that. Paul the Divine will live in my head forever. Yeah, that's an image I had in my mind from the beginning. I that was one of the most important shots for me, especially because this is the second longest cartoon that I've ever done. The longest being the Charlie the Unicorn finale. I generally work with shorts, and so a 20-something minute animation is more than I usually do, but it is still only 20 minutes, and there's only so much time to explore ideas. So, like, in order to sell different things, such as Carl's pivot at the end, like, I really have to put as much as possible into every moment, and so Carl, seeing Paul, like that moment has to be very impactful. Visually, it has to represent a lot of things and represent a lot of the emotional stuff going on for Carl. And so the immediate color transformation of the world, where Carl's, previously Carl has responded to the criticism by fully consuming the visual world with his with his self. He only cares about himself completely. And then to have that world completely replaced with red, which is the color of Paul's hat, and seeing Paul and seeing like Paul is the closest thing to the divine that Carl has any care for. Like Paul does represent like the only thing that Carl cares about. So yeah, that shot had to sell all of that to make the pivot from the complete selfishness to the abandoning of self, to allow that to happen in such a short period of time. Without telling us what it is, what was your design idea behind the meat tube? Fundamentally, like, I imagine that the meat tube is not going to look like a meat tube to probably anyone else that they're visiting. They're a meat tube here with Carl, but if this, whatever this entity is, if they're visiting someone else, it's not going to be a meat tube. It's not going to be a tube of meat. This is how Carl fundamentally sees other beings. It's like it's just a tube of meat. It's a tube of meat to be snapped, to be broken, to be eaten, to be... Yeah, so it looked a bit more like a heart. Yeah, it's a heart. It's like, it's not specifically a heart, but it has a heart shape. Again, a very, like, this thing comes down and is very exposed. Has like an obvious weak point. But, I mean, Carl doesn't go for the easy, snaps the tube in half. So yeah, that's the intention behind the design. Sounds so obvious when you say it. It's all so good. Yeah, I mentioned earlier that there is a lot of stuff in this that appears abstract and inscrutable, but I did genuinely try to make it as scrutable as possible. I liked putting in stuff that feels surreal or like indecipherable at first glance, but actually has pretty literal meaning that is possible for people to pick apart by looking at it and thinking, okay, what is this thing? What does this mean? And like, I think that there's I have in the past and like loved being inscrutable. And in the future, I will be inscrutable. But for this particular project, I thought this is the way to go. And having watched it over and over again so many times as I worked on it, I genuinely could no longer tell whether or not it was like, whether or not this was like all extremely straightforward and basic in a way that was going to be boring, or whether it would still have the intended effect when viewed. thought Jason would play around with different ending of the series. I didn't want to, I thought it was very important to me not to retcon anything. Yeah, I didn't want to... everything that I did, I wanted to have done within the context of what had come before it. Even to the point, and this is something that I imagine most people will miss just because it's such a small, tiny little baby detail. the smallest possible detail that could not get smaller. I literally could not make it smaller. I tried. I could not make it smaller without it being like impossible to see. But here, I'm pulling it up. But at the I'll see it zoomed in too much. At the end, like with the water and stuff, Carl's hat is actually here, and sinks back into the water, just like in the end of episode 12. So ends on literally the exact same place. I was expecting Bronus to pop up at the end and say, "That's all, folks." It's all, folks. I don't usually like when a character is just fundamentally evil, but it worked for me here. Yeah, I don't generally like just fundamentally evil characters, but I have written a number of them. I've, in recent years, tried to write way less of them, but with Carl, it was definitely important to keep him evil. To keep him evil. I didn't want the message to be that he somehow was not evil. No, he's misunderstood. He's not really extremely evil. Yeah. Carl jumping off the bridge is what got me into classical music, specifically Canon in D. It's a good song. It's a good song. Well, that'll probably be it. I've talked about this for like an hour. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Thanks for watching the epilogue. I'm very proud of it. How'd you fix the title at the beginning? This I went through a number of iterations. You know how there's the water reflection? That has two purposes. It has like a artistic meaning, but also I put that there because the text would not fade out otherwise. See this text? This text right here, when it was just the slate in the background, the text would just stay on screen. But with the reflection, with the water light stuff. It faded away completely correctly. Yeah, so I guess that's it. I guess that's all. Thank you all for tuning in. Have a great night, everyone. A great morning, afternoon, evening, whatever it is, wherever you are. Have a good one. Farewell, everyone. I love you all.